We're going to ask Uncle Bill to say a couple words on behalf of all of those who are having a birthday. As you're aware, Uncle Bill's 88th is coming up, I believe. Is that correct, Uncle Bill?
2nd of August.
2nd of August. And Donna just celebrated her 80th birthday this year, and so we're going to celebrate not just their birthdays, but we have a few others in the crowd. Probably everybody will have one this year. So I'll turn it over to Uncle Bill Syme.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. I don't know about announcing all the people that are going to be 80, but let's take a show of hands. How many here in the next month or so will be in their 80s? Any? Who are already in their 80s? You're joining a very good group.
We're scarce group.
As I met many of you, some for the first time, some because my memory at 88 isn't that hot. But one of the questions that came up, as I said, I was going to talk about Donna, my sister, was that they wanted to know some good stories. But first, I'm going to reminisce a little bit, because today, not just today, but this year, our parents were married in 1913, and my father had come to this country in 1912 and farmed, and this was to come in 1910, and they were adjacent, and one of the things that they believed in was family. Family was important, and it was important when they were having a family, and Mother and Dad talked about that, evidently, and Dad had real pride in his own family, and he said, what we do, we're not going to rush into this, but when we have family, we're going to make sure that they're well trained, they're part of our ongoing Syme family. And what do you know, in 1916, Brother Jack, the oldest in the family, was born, named after his father, and he was a good lad. Never smoked later, never drank, went to church, just a good lad. Dad was so proud that he was a Syme. And so Mother said, well, the next one I want in the family is a daughter, and we're going to follow the same procedure. Mother was a Nisbet. And anyway, in time, they had a baby in 1918. The war was over, but George had arrived, and he was a rascal. He was just filled with Nisbet genes. Oh, there's a lot of Nisbets here. Yes. And he smoked and he drank and he chased after women, and he didn't know what to do, really, and they said they had to start over again, and they did. They start over and they got their perfect son, number 3. That's not a joke. But the important thing is, Donna, is that they had a mold, and all they had to do was change a few parts, and they had a daughter. And they had a beautiful daughter. Now, Mother and Dad, every time they had another child, when the first one was born, they bought a new buggy in 1916. George was born, they bought a Model T half-ton truck. Donna was born, they bought a 1933 V8 Ford, fast, just like this young lady. Now, I want to take some credit here a little bit, because we grew up together, because I was 8 years older than she is, and when we went to school, and when I mentioned this to people, they said, please tell. I went to school and I was in grade 9 and she was riding on behind me on the horseback to school. And of course, there was nothing that made her more angry than for me to lean over backwards and almost knock her off the horse. But she became a great rider. Oh yes, the things we didn't do together at school. And you helped me, I was the caretaker, and you looked after the chalk brushes. I think it was to pay you 5 cents a day, but that's it. But, Donna, this was the story of the generation. So, it's interesting that I thought we should put on a kilt today because, you know, Donna's had 3 brothers all the time. She didn't have a sister. I felt it's the least I could do. I'm going to change my name to Wilhelmina. Now, I had some problems, but you know, I talked about this with Lawrence and Cindy when we were having lunch one day, and I talked about kilt and I talked about a sporran. And Lawrence doesn't have a Scottish background, but he didn't know what a sporran was. And I said, well, I wasn't wearing one. I said, it's a long hairy thing that hangs down in front of the kilt. He said, oh, I got one of those. No, Lawrence, this is a sporran. And it's made as a purse. And it has a purpose. Like Donna, if I'm going to live this role, there's a lot I have to learn about ladies' clothes. My question is, that's not to do with it. My question is, do you think that would be a suitable type of slip? What about pink? Would pink be nice?
White's good.
Oh, we're going places. That's my sister. Ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence, have we someone to lead that song? We do. We want to